What's up, guys? This is Joseph with Spartacous Marketing, and today we're going to talk about sales. This video is specifically made for individuals who want to understand sales better and how to be able to execute sales when it comes to different types. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's get into it. All right, so today we're going to talk about sales, but two different types of sales. The first type of sales we're going to talk about is what we're going to categorize as quick sales. And then the other type of sales we're going to categorize as slow sales, to make it simple, right? Now, before we get into this video, if you do like the content, if you do like the opportunity to learn how to sell better and make a ton of money with sales, do like this video, share it, subscribe, talk about it, use it, watch it again, get the knowledge down. This video is going to be mostly knowledge based. There's a few skills in there that you could learn to use for yourself. So I advise you to really just watch the video again, learn what you need to learn and use it to your advantage, right? So we're going to talk about the different skills that goes into sales, and we're going to give you examples to help you with the process so you have a better understanding on how to implement these things you're learning. Let's go over some examples of what we call quick sales and slow sales so you guys have a better understanding on the type of sales for yourself. Let's go into it. So with quick sales, your main objective is to influence people into making a change. This typically should last 15 minutes or less. That's pretty much that simple. If I can influence you to change something about your current status within 15 minutes or less, that is what we will categorize as quick sales. Slow sales is a process where we are actually convincing you to make a change, typically 20 minutes or more. Slow sales is a process where we are influencing you to change something, right? And this normally lasts 20 minutes or more. Now, what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna start by breaking down quick sales, the sales method that goes into it, right? And how you can utilize that to your sales advantage. The first thing about quick sales we want to talk about is what is called break preoccupation. Good example of this is, let's say the person has a certain mind that they are in, or mind frame. It could be someone that's at home cooking food, watching television, or it could be someone going to the grocery store just to buy something. And their mind is so focused on what they're doing that they need an interruption. You want to break that for them. You want to get them out of that place so that they can give you the attention you need to help them make the change. So some people, depending on the scenario you're in, let's say you are a door-to-door salesperson, right? You might actually say something like, hey, by the way, there's a huge increase in so and so. You gotta say, hey, there's a huge increase in the amount of money people are spending on home entertainment products. Our company have discovered that and are now helping your neighbors find solution. We would like to see if we can help you also. Now you've interrupted their mind and they're thinking, wait, what increase? What is this problem you're talking about? How can I be part of the solution, or how can I benefit from the solution? Or let's say you're at a grocery store and you're doing store sales. You might say, hey, by the way, can I ask you a question? Do you feel like you're spending too much money right now when it comes to groceries? Are you? Perfect, we got a solution for you. That breaks preoccupation right there. Once you've broken preoccupation, the next thing you want to do is establish your problem. So example could be, hey, Mr. Customer, we realize that a lot of your neighbors are beginning to switch to more energy efficient products to help them improve their buying experiences. We provide a solution to help people like you benefit from energy efficient products. Or you might say, by the way, Mr. Customer, a lot of your neighbors are paying too much on so and so and so. We provide a solution. This is usually where you bring in your pitch, right? It's where you bring in your company pitch. That pitch itself is usually where you are now beginning to show them a shock and open their eyes to a problem that they themselves have either been sleeping on or are not aware of. Now, the third thing you want to do is now transition to providing a solution for them. The solution has to be much better than what it is that they have. The solution has to be so good that it would be almost foolish not to take advantage of it. A good example would say, hey, Mr. Customer, if we can give you the first month free for this particular product, it would make sense to go for it, especially if the following monthly costs are lower than what you're currently paying. You would agree, right? Okay. Or you might say, hey, Mr. Customer, our company offers free this, that, and this. If you sign up today, you get to take advantage of this free services. If that could benefit you, that is something you would want, correct? Right? As you're nodding your head, right? So this is a solution to a problem that they did not realize they had, but you presented it to them, right? So that's basically where you provide a solution to them. Now, the fourth thing you want to do in the process, right? You want to use other people as a good example to show them why they should do it. So you say, hey, Mr. Customer, Jennifer, who lives 2 blocks from you, actually switched over to our services and has seen a huge savings, or so-and-so has been using us for years and they've seen the huge benefits that we offer, right? So if they're benefiting, we believe you can as well. If you could benefit this way and they're benefiting, that is something you would want, correct? Now, if they are a referral, you could use their referral person as an example. Hey, so-and-so referred you to us because they see the benefits and they see you benefiting also. Does that make sense? All right, hope you guys are following. And then the last but not least, this is something that you need to do every single time. And if you don't do this, all your effort is in vain. You have to offer them the quickest and easiest way to fix that problem through your company, right? You want to be able to collect that information, get them approved, or get them set up as quickly as possible. So if your sales involve having someone come out, you want to get that person to come out within 1 to 2 days. You don't want it to take a week or 2 weeks, because by the time it starts taking a while, they lose interest. So the quickest you could get them approved, buying whatever it is that you're trying to sell, or even getting them to agree to something, right, is the more likely you're going to have success, because you already created a quick problem. You already provided a solution to that quick problem. You already let them know others are benefiting from it. Now, all you're going to do for this last section, right, is making sure that you collect that information. So as soon as you see that they are agreeing with you, as soon as you see that they can see themselves in the picture, then you might go ahead and say, hey, let me go ahead and get your last name, your first name. Let me get your phone number, your email. Do you have your ID on you? You have this on you, and that you start collecting whatever it is your company requires you to collect to be able to seal the deal when it comes to these individuals. Now, obviously, lingos do vary, pitches do vary, but these are some basic things that if you can find a way to transition your sales experience into these things that I just listed, you are going to be a beast when it comes to quick sales. With that in mind, I hope you enjoyed that part of it. Let's talk about slow sales. So the thing I love about slow sales is slow sales normally pays you a lot more money than quick sales. The reason why, because slow sales does involve longer commitments, bigger deals, bigger commissions, bigger percentages, and bigger everything. So slow sales are usually very delicate. and you have to make sure that you get your steps right, and you have to be patient enough to run your customers through the process. Typically with slow sales, you don't want to rush anything. You don't want to skip anything. You want people to follow you through the process. If they can't follow you, you lose them completely. In fact, you don't just lose them, you give them an overall bad experience just by rushing, skipping steps, or not really doing it confidently. Slow sales require people who are eager, patient, and able to last as long as possible with the clients. So you might experience a sale that was supposed to be 45 minutes, but it went on for 2 hours. You might experience a sale that was supposed to be 2 hours, but for some reason that customer was so eager, it ended up lasting for 1 hour, right? With slow sales, you got to know your steps. You have to make sure you could bring the customer on the journey with you through the whole process, or else you will be wasting your time and wasting that time as well, and give them an overall bad experience. So we're going to go into what it takes to be able to have a successful strategy when it comes to slow sales, right? So let's get into it. So now with slow sales, I want to preface this by saying, when you're doing slow sales, keep in mind that a lot of the services and products you're selling are going to be kept for a long time. So good examples of slow sales are going to be car sales, life insurance sales, things that involves continuous usages, commitments, things that involve credit checks, things that involves long-term usage. So you have to make sure that you get your steps correctly. Now I will give a disclaimer: whatever information your company gives you, learn and master that information before you go into these skills, strategies that we're going to talk about, right? The first one we'll talk about is building up expectation through creative storytelling and structuring. So you want to structure your presentation in a way that's like a story. A good example might be, hey, Mr. Customer, one of the biggest things about selling cars in 2023 is that a lot of customers do not understand the kind of cars that they truly need and how the car could benefit their family. A lot of people just buy off of impulses. At our company, we make sure that we look at what your family needs are when it comes to your cars, and we want to match it with a solution that works best for you. If you don't mind me asking, what would you be using your car for? Boom. I've already started getting them involved in the story, and I'm asking them little questions along the way so they could come along with me. Hey, Mr. Customer, when it comes to life insurance, we don't believe life insurance is for people who are old. We actually believe that's for people who are younger. Here's why. When you're making $2,000 a month, right, and your wife is making $2,000 a month, together your family makes $4,000 a month. Who benefits from that money? Your kids, right? So if something was to happen to you, what would you want done for your kids? You want them to be taken care of. Whereas so-and-so company will provide a solution that does, and you continue with your presentation, right? You bring them along, right? And you ask them little questions to kind of get them engaged so that they don't fall asleep on you, or so you don't lose them along the way. Now, the next thing you're going to need to do in your process when it comes to slow sales would be, you want to start showing results of other people who are in similar problems as that particular customer, and how the path that your company provides, or the solution that you guys provide, got them through the problem. So a good example might be, hey, Mr. Customer, most people who buy cars only buy cars because of the way they look. They don't always buy cars for functionality. A good example of this is one of my customers by the name of Jessica. She came in wanting a convertible sports car, but I found out that she had just recently had a baby. She had 2 children and a husband. I recommended to her that I felt it would be better for her to get an SUV, right? That is a sporty SUV that allows her to be able to go off-roading, as well as be able to fulfill her mom duties. So she's able to fulfill her desires of having an adventure vehicle, but also be able to have it where she can have that vehicle be used for family purposes, instead of getting her a convertible where she would be limited in space, right? So there was a slight trade-off for her, but the solution that we came up with was so much better with the SUV for her situation. And we understand that you have your own family as well, so we recommend that you go that pathway. Now, I know if you still want to get a sports car, you can, but we recommend you get that later on when the kids are older. Or you might say, most middle-income families in America do not understand the effects of one individual's passing away, how that affects their family's financial well-being. At so-and-so company, we provide you with the insurance that you need for this, and that, right? You basically show other people who had similar problems and how the solution that your company provides got them into a better place. So the next thing you want to do will be, you want to pre-qualify them, but still ask them questions that is still very heartfelt. Obviously, a lot of slow sales do require that you pre-qualify your customers or your clients. Pre-qualification questions could be generalized or personalized depending on what the company needs to be able to cater to that clients. So some pre-qualifications could be, hey, by the way, Mr. Customer, do you have any children? Do you smoke? Do you do this, right? Now, you don't just want to say, hey, let me ask you these few questions and I will hope that you could answer them. Like some people might be like, hey, I'm a robot, let me ask you a bunch of questions, I hope you answer them. No, you say, hey, Mr. Customer, by the way, most of the kind of clients that we have tend to have children. Do you have any children? Yes. By the way, if you don't mind me asking, most of our clients that we normally like to help do not smoke. Are you someone who have smoking conditions? Yes, I have smoking issues. Okay, well, in your scenario, we will recommend that we get this done for you or get that done for you, right? You kind of pre-qualify them along the way, right? Whenever you're asking the pre-qualification questions, you know, depending on what that is. But you could ask pre-qualification questions as a side note in your mind. You might approach it in a different way where you say, hey, by the way, do you use drugs? You know, by the way, we kind of noticed a lot of people use drugs nowadays. You know, do you use any drugs? Or you might say, hey, you know, a lot of people that we notice nowadays tend to have an average of 2 to 3 kids. How many children do you have, right? So there's some pre-qualification questions. Just some examples. You can have your own system, but you want to pre-qualify them at some point in the process of slow. This next one, you want to suggest a solution to the problem that they already have. Now, a lot of times with slow sales, you're going to find out the problems they have along the way. Most companies, with the way they teach you, you know, when it comes to the presentation, when it comes to, you know, pre-qualification questions, you're able to start to identify the problems that they have. Now, you want to start suggesting solutions even before you get to the decision part of the sales. You want to start providing them solutions even before you start, you know, actually closing them, right? So you're setting them up. It's kind of like if you're a cook, right, and you're seasoning your food, you're putting in all the goodies before you start cooking it, right? You're setting them up for the close, right, by now suggesting solutions. A good example might be, hey, Mr. Customer, we normally recommend that families like yours get life insurance because it helps you protect your family's asset. Hey, Mr. Customer, we normally recommend that we get you some SUVs when you have 2 or more children. But that's just our recommendation. Hey, Mr. Customer, we normally recommend that your house switches to solar because of the government benefits that comes with it, right? You start to suggest solutions to them even before you get to the actual close. So you're not setting their mind up for what we call a yes sequence. So once they start saying yes to you and yes to you, you've been in that momentum. And before you know it, they're basically turning a new leaf and they're ready to go through with it. Now, once you see that you're getting yeses from them, once you see that their head is nodding in your direction, once you see that they are on your side, right? This next part of slow sales, you want to now start asking them tie-down questions and commitment questions. Hey, Mr. Customer, if we can help you save X amount of money, this is something that you would take advantage of, right? Yeah, they're saying yes. Hey, Mr. Customer, if it makes sense to switch you over to a better car and it's within your price range, that is something you take advantage of, right? Course, yeah, because if it's not in your price range, it won't make any sense, right? Yeah, right. So let's go ahead and see what the price comes out as. You know, the next one we're going to talk about is you want to give your customers options. We normally recommend options because most individuals want to feel like they're making the decisions on their own. They're not being coerced into it. So a lot of times when you give your customers options, you're actually doing that, you're doing yourself a favor, because now they can't just back out of it. If they try to back out of it, now you can reel them back in and try to understand why they are now backing out of it. So options is a way to protect yourself from them backing out of the deal. Now, if you do a great job with your presentation, great job setting them up from the front end, right? You discover the problems that they have. You realize there were others who had similar problems and you suggested the same solution. You got them to start saying yes to you. You got them to see the solution for themselves. Now you offer them options. Typically, you want to offer between 2 or more options. The reason why you want to offer 2 or more options because it gives them the feeling of choice, right? They don't feel like they can rope themselves out of it. Usually if it's one solution, they could think of a way to try to rope out of it. But when there's multiple solutions, it's a lot more difficult to rope out of it, right? Kind of think about it like a dealership. When you go to a dealership, there's multiple cars to choose from. All of a sudden now you can't just say, oh, I couldn't find a car. No, there was a lot of different cars. We just have to find the best one for you, right? So same thing here. Now the next thing that goes into slow sales when it comes to the skill level is you want to be patient with them and allow them time to make that decision. If that time means sitting there for 30 minutes, sitting there for 7 minutes, sitting there for 10 minutes, however long it takes a customer, you want to be someone that is calm and just willing to just sit there and let them make the decision without giving them any more suggestions, right? You just want to sit there and let them make the decision. Or if it's something that requires you to step out of the room, you just step out of the room. Or if they need to step out of the room, you let them step out of the room. But you don't say anything when it comes to the option section. You want them to think on it, talk about it, ask themselves questions, evaluate it, play with the paper, touch the paper, walk back and forth, whatever it is they need to do. When it comes to that process, you just sit there and let them go through it. Because if you do that, I promise you will always get that sale. The next phase will be you want to affirm their decision. So even if they choose a decision that you don't even like, let's say you wanted them to choose the middle one because it pays you a lot more money, but they chose the one on the left, the least one. You just want to give them, yes, that is the best decision, absolutely great for your family. We totally recommend it. The best one for you, right? Or you could say, let's say they chose one in the middle. That is the best decision. Totally recommend that for your family. Absolutely the best for you. Or if they chose the biggest one, that is the best decision. Totally recommend that. Absolutely best for your family. You don't say, why not this or why not that? Because at that point, they might be upset with you. They might feel like you're inconsiderate. They might feel like you're not considering them. And at that point, you would definitely lose the sale, right? Now, if you're skillful, you might talk them into something bigger, but they might end up having buyer's remorse later on, right? And then they'll feel bad. And now they don't want to send you anybody. They don't want to, they're like, nah, that guy talked us into getting something that we didn't need, or he got us to buy too much, versus, I'm happy with the guy because he sold us what we needed. Does that make sense? So you don't want to be the guy who broke them into paying too much money when they had a certain amount of money in mind. You want to be the guy that made them feel comfortable enough to come back again and again or send people to you. Does that make sense? Another way to really solidify a sale is to ask for referrals. There's just something about them sending you people that makes them want to keep your services or products. If they can't even send you any referrals, there's a high probability that they would not keep it, because they will feel bad. Imagine if I sent you a guy, imagine if I referred Paul to you and Paul now uses the services and I'm over here canceling it. Then I'm going to feel some kind of way about it. I'm going to think, okay, Paul's using it, right? And it's not bad for us, so we might as well keep it. Now, if it's bad for them, they're going to cancel it anyway. They don't care what Paul thinks. But if it's a great service or great product, they're going to say, okay, well, it's a great service, it's a great product. Paul uses it, it's benefit him too, and I recommend it, Paul, right? Now, some companies do add money incentives when it comes to referrals. Referrals is just a matter of how happy they are with the products, right? So imagine if they got paid money on something, they use it, and Paul uses it. Now they feel bad if they want to cancel. So getting referrals from them always benefits you when it comes to you. Now, the last thing I'm going to recommend when it comes to soul sales to really solidify a long-term business client relationship is you want to pay them a visit sometime in the future, a couple of weeks later, a couple of months later, right? Or you could send them letters, but you want to kind of visit them to see how this is going. A lot of salespeople do not visit the customer ever again. The moment they get it, it is a wrap, right? We don't want to see you again. We don't want to see your face. We don't hear from you. You don't want to be that type of salesperson. If you could visit them, visit them. If it's a situation where you can't visit them, call them to check up on them. Send them a letter. Send them a text message. Just check up on them on their birthdays. When you do the extra thing, like visiting a customer who already bought from you before, following up with them, giving them a phone call, sending them a text messages, just making them feel like you were still thinking about them, you increase your sales by an extra 35%, because now they would think about you first before they try to make another similar purchase, or they would think of you when a family member or friend wants to make similar purchases. Now that family member is like, oh my goodness, I have a guy for you. This person is amazing. They got me this and that. They keep follow up with me. They make me feel special. They sent me things on my birthday. This is the best salesperson I've ever met. You should go to them. That's my guy, right? Then you also want to do, if you're the kind of person that your company offers multiple services, you want to revisit them by talking and also talk to them about other services that could benefit them as well. So for example, let's say your company sells doorbells, for example, right? Door alarm bells, right? And let's say that they also had cameras. So you can say, hey, by the way, have we checked out the cameras services that we offer? I know we got your doorbell, but look at this other thing that we offer. I know we got your doorbell, but look at the other things that we offer. See how that could benefit you, right? Now you sold them on the second product, on the second service, and the third one, and the fourth one. By the time they have 3 services from you or 3 products from you, you become that go-to expert. They do not want to use anybody else. That in itself is absolutely beast mode. If you can do all these things that we just suggested when it comes to slow sales, you will be a beast. Right, you would be a monster. So the purpose of this video, guys, is to really allow you to maximize on the skills and knowledge that I have learned from my years of doing sales. I've been doing sales for over 8 years. And one of the biggest things about sales is you have to learn how to have fun with it. There will be people who would always tell you no. There will be people who are going to be on the fence, and your job is to tip them over. And then there will be people who are just easy yes, right? They're just going to come in. You don't have to really say much of anything. They are going to buy from you. They're going to sign up. They're going to use the services. And then there'll be those people who are on the fence, and you have to tip them over. That's where this comes into play. These things that I just talked to you about today will help you with the ones on the fence. For the ones who are not on the fence, who are not going to change their mind, those people are not going to change their mind. Do not even worry about those. Those people are going to be what we call the lost souls. They'll always be lost no matter what you say, no matter what you do. But you want people who are on the fence, right? Typically, when it comes to sales scenario, 25% of people are going to be unknown no matter what. The other 75% are going to be your potential sales, right? You're going to have 50% who are going to be on the fence, right? They're going to be on the fence towards yes, or they'll be on the fence towards no, and there'll be people who are just going to be a complete yes, right? So using these skills will help you, especially with the 25% that might be leaning towards a no, and the 25% that might be leaning towards a yes. Does that make sense? So when you have these skills, you can utilize that to your advantage. So for more sales training, we're going to have videos on how to properly negotiate, right? We're going to have videos on how to brand, and we're going to have a video on how to market. These videos are going to teach you the in and outs that you need to know to properly negotiate, to properly brand and also to properly market either your services or other people's services. We hope you love this video. If you love this video and feel like this video is helping you with your sales, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell notification, and look out for our community. We hope that by the time you see this video, we've actually set up the community. People who join the community get early access to videos and all the other goodies that we have in store. And keep an eye out for our giveaway. At some point, we're gonna start doing a giveaway where people can win things like prizes and money at some point. We hope you enjoy the video. Go ahead and subscribe to Spartacous Marketing. We're here to help you with all your marketing needs. Spartacous Marketing out. Let's go.